Hello, and here we are, just like that. It starts. I see a lot of these YouTube videos, they like start with something from the video, and then it like plays an intro, and then the video starts. Maybe I kind of understand why now a little bit, because I guess I hit record and I'm like, hey, what's going on, everybody? I don't even do the thing where I say my YouTube channel name. I assume everybody watching at this point is just, very rarely on a video like this would I pick up some random person. So I don't know. This is just how my videos start, I suppose. It's some great start, though, huh? Look, we're 30 seconds in, and you're like, what? Maybe the title will give you some indicator. Really, is all I was going to talk about was kind of quickly why I like Gene Hackman. Seems like everybody's now, the circumstances surrounding his death are a big deal, but then nobody's really talking about all the awesome stuff he did. And then I am going to do March 7th, 09, Fish returning at Hampton. That'll be an upcoming recap. Watched Shane bomb on SNL. Watched Conan only last night. Did tune into the Oscars, but then only when Conan was talking on stage did we really turn it up. We just kind of just turned it down and didn't even pay attention after that. I don't know if there's anything worse to hear than an actor accepting an award, really. Every now and then one's decent, but usually it's just, you might as well just put it on mute. You see which film or which actor won, and that's really all you need to know. Flow did, in fact, take home Best Animated Film. The only one I saw this year, but I know it was the best. Probably going to be the best one of the decade. Probably the best one so far this century. Now we're talking, is it the best of all time? I don't know. It's really good, though. It's now on HBO Max, too. I saw, so you should check it out. And then, so I guess that was about all I had. Conan had some funny stuff. He said some funny things. He looked pretty good. Nice suit. Cool suit. I like the suit, You see Conan on his podcast. Oh, man, he looks awful. He looked good with some TV makeup on. It was nice to see. It's like, okay. So the fake Conan still looks good. All natural Conan, like the rest of us, man, not looking so good. And you got all them lights in that podcast studio. All right, so enough about how awful Conan looks without makeup. He still looks good with it, and he's still funny. It was a good call, him as the host, I suppose. I don't know if he'll be one of these guys that does it all the time or not. So I guess there was a moment with Adam Sandler. I didn't really catch that or get that. Mary said it was something to do with the Tom Brady roast. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. I'm up on some things, pop culture, but I kind of missed that one. So then Gene Hackman was, he was one of the first, like when I was a kid, kind of like every movie was the same and every actor was the same. Like it didn't really matter. Like I could watch like Short Circuit or Indiana Jones or The Adventures of Ford Fairlane or Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And it was just like all the same to me. Hoosier, Superman, like Paul Rubens and Gene Hackman were kind of the same to me. I mean, both great, though, actually, in their own way. Both no longer with us now, sadly. But then somewhere around, like it wasn't the French Connection. I didn't even see that when I was a kid. I actually didn't see that till I was much older. And then I saw Hoosiers when I was young, probably too young to really, it was just like a cool basketball movie, underdog story. That was about all I got out of that. And then at some point, again, obviously I've watched that multiple times as I've gotten older. I don't know when it was, if it was an accumulation of movies, but probably somewhere in my 20s, I started to realize that, or late teens, early 20s, like that's when I was able to like start to get into movies, being like, oh, okay, this is good, this is bad. Even though this is bad, I still liked it. But somewhere in that time, Gene Hackman stood out to me. I don't know if it was the Western time, the Wyatt Earp and Tombstone was the other one, I believe, right? So I don't know if it was those movies, probably somewhere around those movies. I'm like, wow, he's done a lot of good movies, and he's really good in a lot of them. So then I started looking up other movies that maybe I hadn't seen and were not so familiar with. Still don't know. And the Lex Luthor role, I kind of, looking back at his career now, you see the French Connection was probably the first big one. He was into a lot of other stuff before that, some decent, but then there was the French Connection. And it seems like maybe he's starting to gonna blow up there, but then he quickly does all the Superman movies. Maybe one good one mixed in. Maybe it was Hoosiers mixed in by the time they got done with all three of the Superman movies. But then he did a lot of bad stuff. So I don't know if the like Superman, the original Superman was pretty cool, but they got pretty bad by the end. So I don't know if that tainted his career a little bit. And there was some bad stuff in there until you get to the back into the '90s. Then it got good again. Absolute Power, probably the most underrated of all the stuff he was in. It's a Clint Eastwood movie. I thought he was excellent in that, and really just a cool movie. I thought. Just nice, some small little details that I think that was a Clint Eastwood movie. He didn't just star in it. He just like made you think like this guy either talked to some guys, some burglars in prison, or what does Clint do in his spare time? So that was maybe the last of the really good ones he did, I believe. I'm going to watch Welcome to Mooseport, his final one with Ray Romano. It looks pretty awful, but you never know. Sometimes those awful movies do have a big laugh. I feel like there was a couple of those movies around that time, like politically driven comedies. I think this one falls under rom-com, but there's the one Galifianakis did. It was kind of funny, stupid, but had some laughs for sure. So perhaps this will be like that. It's a shame that his very last movie was a rom-com with Ray Romano. Not exactly going to go down. They're not going to like coat that thing in gold someday and put it in the what's that one cool collection? Criterion? I don't think so. So I guess enough. So and really, I guess maybe still now, because I don't know. I don't really know any of these young people. Then you got like your Leos of the world, but really like Gene Hackman, Robert Duvall, maybe even Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay, Cuba Gooding Jr. sounds like maybe he's a bit of a creep and a predator, with all the P Diddy stuff. But look, he was still good in a lot of movies. So yeah, it might be my three favorite actors ever: Gene Hackman, Robert Duvall, and Cuba Gooding Jr. It's hot. It's Cuba. So then, March 7th, 09, I haven't listened to that in a while. I know channel member SE requested March 6th, 09 last year around this good time. Very good call. Very, makes a lot of sense, working a little bit of, I don't know what you call that. What's not like synergy is not the word. Just something, it's like the anniversary's coming up. Fans are going to be listening to it. He requests the recap, put it on YouTube. It's all a big circle, All right. So then, I guess SNL was pretty bad, coming off of the 50. It's a shame. Shane, I am a big fan of Shane's stand-up comedy. Even his sketch comedy show, there's a lot of bits of it on YouTube. They're hilarious. Usually, and the sketches were pretty bad. The monologue, though, it's like this is the second time now, and he still seemed really uncomfortable. And it wasn't total crickets. He was getting some laughs, I believe, unless they worked those laughs in. Those laughs were not real, possibly. I do not know. But I don't think so. I think he was getting some laughs. I mean, maybe he's just used to the room just dying laughing with everything he says. That can be a bit of a problem with some people that become like these ultra popular comedians, stand up. But yeah, I would classify that as bombing. He seemed like, he felt like, he looked like, he verbalized the fact that he was bombing. I thought there were some laughs. There was a couple of funny lines in there, mostly not that funny. It was like, maybe in his mind it was fresh, but then when it came out, maybe not that fresh. And then there was, I thought the Greenland, Iceland thing was pretty funny. And then what did he move on to? Yeah, then he's always moving on to, when he talks relationships, I don't really love it. He had that last thing in his stand-up about his current girlfriend's former boyfriend being a Navy SEAL. I didn't really. So, I don't know. Anytime he dives into the relationship stuff, maybe it's just because he's just a big, pasty ogre-looking dude. Now he's rocking that sweet mustache. Maybe I'm just like, I don't want to hear you talk about your relationship, man. You're gross, kind of, All right, so then Conan did not bomb. He was much better. I guess that was about all I had. I don't want to, ramble on too long here. The sun is really blasting me in the face right now. I feel like it wasn't. It was a little bit hidden behind the trees 9 minutes ago when this whole thing started. Hackman. So, I guess that'll be the conclusion. I didn't know how to start, and I don't know how to end. It's kind of like a Saturday Night Live sketch. They never know how to end either. They've had 50 years to figure it out. Well, I've had quite a while to figure it out myself. All right. I guess we just say boom and leave, huh? Just worth uploading. I don't know. I didn't like the fact that a lot of talk about Gene Hackman's death. Hey, look, I'm no better. I started with a joke. Within minutes of hearing the news, I claimed the two living dogs have asked to speak to their attorney. Hey-o! Boom.